to the Drag Me to the Movies podcast. I'm Ned.
And I'm Joe.
In this episode, we're going to discuss Swiss Army Man from 2016, directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, two Daniels. And it stars Paul Dano, Daniel Radcliffe, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So we got three Dans in this movie, or part of this movie, I should say. So, Joe, what did you think of Swiss Army Man?
You almost have four Dans with Paul Dano. If you
Dano,
really want
yes,
to go
you're
for it.
correct.
I'm just pointing
I
out
mean,
there. We have
Mary
the
just throws everything away. Like
that's true. What the
she was
hell?
probably
We have
like,
the court.
Danny honorably or something.
We have the Dan Quartet in this
Yeah.
film. All right, that's enough. We've spent enough time on that. Yeah, so Swiss Army Man. If you haven't watched it, you should. It's interesting.
It's weird.
It is weird. It's not Eraserhead weird.
No, no, no,
Um
no, no, no.
It's
Definitely
more
not.
of like a stretch of reality, but fun, I guess is the way I would describe it. Is that fair, Ned? Or
I think so. I would describe it as very creative, and it's trying to put a positive spin on a lot of things that people struggle with. So I overall love kind of the message and how things were delivered in this movie.
yeah, no, I agree. Because there's definitely times where or at least for me, I question whether or not the events were happening at
Yes.
all.
Yep.
Or if this was just Paul Dano, or I should say Hank's imagination, right? Because he was lonely. Because the way it starts out is he's trying to hang himself, and Daniel
Mm-hmm.
Radcliffe's body washes ashore, and he kind of notices him flopping around and gets interested,
He turns
and
into a
then
jet ski.
slowly, yeah, from fart jets,
Right.
uh, and then slowly Manny, Daniel Radcliffe, starts to talk and come to life a little bit, even though he's still a corpse. And yeah, throughout the movie, I just I had back and forth of like, was this really happening or wasn't it? And it's just it was a really cool premise of again kind of being down on your luck at the end of your rope, um, not feeling self worth, remembering what it is to be human,
Right.
I think is like a big topic in this. And so to your point, there's definitely a good undertone to the story,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's over the top crazy.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it's an interesting film. Like I think if it didn't have that heart in it, I probably wouldn't like it
Oh
as
my
much
God.
as I did.
This could have easily spun into something super weird. Um,
Yeah, it
but
almost it almost feels like one of those things that like gets spun off of like an SNL skit, you know?
well,
Um
so kind of interesting. There's two directors, which that's kind of rare to see, but these two directors have worked together on many projects. They are also the ones behind the, Everything Everywhere All at Once movie, which
okay.
that movie in itself is also a trip.
It's
Uh,
also ridiculous, yeah.
yeah. But they also did the music video for Lil Jon, that Turned Down for What song? I don't know if you've ever seen.
Yeah, I have.
They did that. And they've worked
Interesting.
on others as well. But yeah, definitely
Interesting.
creative individuals. And what I was seeing in one interview from them, I didn't get the full context of it, so I might be missing out on something. But what I did see, it's like they tried to take a lot of things they just generally don't like acapella fart jokes and those things, and they tried to put it all into this movie and make something good out of it. Which, if that wasn't them just, over exaggerating, they nailed it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. So yeah, the I think where like the movie really shines, other than the undertoned messages, is the whole title of the film, right? The Swiss Army Man.
Oh my God, yes.
It's kind of hilarious the different ways that Hank is able to interact with Manny
Mm-hmm.
and utilize him.
Yep.
I
I
tried to
wrote down a
take
few of them.
notes, but like, yeah. So maybe we can fill this in together because I
Okay,
started losing track after a while.
gotcha.
But I got the jet ski,
Right.
the fart jet ski. I have it written down
Yep.
as the
Yep.
water fountain,
Yep. Drinking
the
water is
boner
what I called that.
compass.
Yep.
Yep, the boner compass, the grappling hook,
Yep, got that.
The scuba mask,
Yep.
I guess I put like machine gun slash shotgun,
Yeah, I called it like a potato gun because he was doing all types of things with it.
right? Um, and then I think that's it.
So I had also kind of included a few other things.
Okay,
Conversation. Initially he has to like punch him to get him to talk or whatever, but eventually he
right.
becomes a full conversation. He's essentially like a radio music player for him. At one point
That's
he
true.
uses his teeth as like a razor. Um,
That's right. To cut his
he's
beard.
a
That's right.
fire starter, yeah. An axe, sledgehammer type thing, a shower,
Hmm.
and even a backpack.
That's true. I forgot about. I mean, I guess I didn't consider the backpack, but you're right.
Yeah.
You're right because he wears them. Yeah, it's very ridiculous.
It was
I love it.
crazy, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. So I think I touched upon it at the beginning, the whole, what it means to be human. I
Mhm.
really like how they handled that with Manny. When he first starts talking, he doesn't really know what's going on. He doesn't really know what life and death is. He doesn't know what
He's a
what it
child.
is to be loved. Right.
Yeah.
But you can tell like they start showing that there's parts of him that are still in there
Mhm.
from his past life, through the introduction of the Jurassic Park theme song, right?
Mhm.
Hank
Love
starts to
that in
sing it
there.
and Manny's able to fill in and sing along with him. Uh and it's kind of endearing that way in that Hank being the downtrodden close to suicide, or I should just say suicidal guy that he was, is able to kind of see the good in life through teaching Manny what it means to be alive, I guess.
Mhm.
The whole girl in the cell phone thing and how you learn about, crushes, you learn about sexuality, you learn about, marriage, you learn about, flings, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Being
you
shy.
learn about what's that?
Being shy and not actually talking to
Right,
the girl, but imagining
right,
how it could play out.
right. The interactions between father and son
Mhm.
comes up as well. Uh, what else? I think really like the part also where they kind of play into the acting out or recreating what it's like to fall in love, with the bus, like recreating the bus, down to like fake headphones or earbuds
Mhm.
and doing a glance over it at the girl and Hank dressing up as the girl, to get Manny, to understand. And I appreciate that it's the reason they're doing this is for Hank's want to survive, but I think it starts to blur the line between Hank wanting to help Manny versus Hank trying to survive. And you kind of find that come to a head with the bear scene when Hank's able to find that they're close to humanity again, or civilization, I should say. Uh, and that's of course ridiculous as well with the bear and how
Mhm.
they launch themselves into a tree. Uh, but yeah, I just overall I think again the focus on everything I just mentioned, really is where the substance is in this film. All the rest is just really fun, dumb, shock value almost kind of
Mhm.
stuff in a way. So yeah, I mean, overall, I don't know that I can add a whole lot more beyond that. Um, Other than maybe the only thing I think I would add is, I guess at the end, right? I feel like the end wrapped up a little odd
Yeah,
to me.
I credit that
Um,
to, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like they didn't have a way out kind of thing, right? Like they had a direction, but they didn't have an ending, kind of like with Lost.
Mhm.
uh and like the whole confusion between who Hank and Manny was kind of weird and I think confusing for no reason. When they find the body and the lady who helps them, it doesn't seem like they know each other, even though Hank was after her. Like it's all very kind of odd. Um and then ultimately, you do find out that it all was real because Manny's able to fart his way
Mhm.
away from everybody, and they kind of zoom in on everybody, and they do that kind of it almost felt like the '60s head nod, like everybody understands, everything's going to be all right, kind of, finale
Mhm.
to like a TV show. Uh, so it was kind of an odd end to the movie overall.
I
Um,
tend to agree, which I think for me, I see this movie as more of a, a metaphor kind of fantasy thing. I don't take things as literal, just based on how everything kind of played out and
mm,
how it made me feel, you know?
yeah, but it did happen, Ned.
Yeah,
It did.
it could have. I mean, that's the thing. It leaves it open to be interpreted however you want to
Yeah, I
interpret
guess
it.
I guess you could interpret it right that the fart jet ski was his only actual real thing, and everything else was make believe because that pans out again, right? You don't
Sure.
see
Sure.
you don't see the other stuff happen.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um yeah, overall, like typically we talk on like the score of the
Mhm.
film. I don't really pick up on much of it in the film,
Okay.
to be honest.
All right. Well,
Uh
I disagree there.
okay, go ahead.
Well, yeah, so there's that one song that kind of keeps kind of evolving throughout the movie. Um, the restless, walking around restless. Like
Mhm.
a better way is the name of that song. And I have definitely personally just started like humming that myself. I have listened to the actual soundtrack before. That particular song is definitely in my liked songs. Um,
Okay.
I just kind of like how it built in throughout the movie, and it didn't feel like completely repetitive. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
like that's one of the things. In like again, it's kind of mostly done in a acapella style because it's
Mhm.
two guys on an island. One of them's dead. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed that. I mean, compared to like I just went to go see Tron Ares and I love, what they did with Legacy's music, and this one has Nine Inch Nails doing the music.
Mhm.
And I love listening to the soundtrack. But I swear I need to go back and watch the movie again. But as it was playing, I felt like I was hearing the same song over and over again, just maybe slightly tweaked. And it got kind
Mm.
of extremely repetitive and annoying for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know we're not here to talk about that film, but do you
Mhm.
recommend it? Should I go out and see it?
Yeah, I mean, I personally like I still am processing it, but I really kind of put it on the same level as Legacy. If you enjoyed
Okay, I was gonna
Legacy,
say I
like
liked Legacy, so
it doesn't have as much of a tie back to the previous films, other than the fact that the grid is
it's
a
Tron.
thing and
Yeah.
it's Tron. But yeah, I think there's some things they could have changed to make it even better. And I
Okay.
don't know if they're gonna get a fourth movie, but I feel they could capitalize on a few things if they do. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Cool.
but
All
yeah.
right. Back
So
to
the
Swiss Army
music
Man.
wasn't anything that wowed you.
No, I mean it. To me, it kind of gave me the vibes of like, oh, what's the name of that movie? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. Oh, is it Little Miss Sunshine? Is that what?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
kind of reminds me of that, like real light, folky type music. It felt
Mm-hmm.
like to me.
Sure. It's been a
Um,
while since I've
you
seen that
know,
movie, but I believe I
but yeah,
recall what
some
you're going
something
for.
along those lines, kind of. Um, so I mean, that's not like my favorite way of, I guess, but it fit the film. I guess maybe the way I should look at it is that it molded itself into the film so much that it didn't stand out to me necessarily, but it didn't detract from it either.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so like I don't look at this negatively in any fashion. It's not like a Lord of the Rings score or anything that like really like sticks out from the music standpoint for me.
Yeah. That's fair.
But I could see, like you said, like you really like that song, and they do use that quite a bit.
Yeah. I don't know. It just
Um,
kind of kept building for me, especially how he like introduces like my mom used to sing this to me, but I didn't remember the words, and he starts filling in some of the words, and yeah, I don't know. It definitely grew on me throughout the movie.
yeah, okay. Let's talk about the environment. I
Hmm.
think the environment for the film was beautiful.
Yes.
Uh, the forest scenes and the beach scenes and all that stuff.
I also love the use of,
Really,
like,
really well done.
the trash and how he combined all the things from there to make other people or reproduce a movie scene, cast the shadows
Right.
onto like whatever canvas that was. Um,
Mhm.
just overall, like the creative things in this movie, I can't say enough for.
Yeah, they were very smart,
Hmm.
very smart. And then overall runtime of the film too. I don't feel like it ran on too long. It felt
Nope,
just right for me.
just a little bit over
Um,
90 minutes,
yeah, yep.
97 minutes, I
I
think.
think I think that was the correct way to do it because
Yeah,
anything
agreed.
longer I think would have been too much. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah. So I mean that's pretty much all I have to touch on about this film. I guess in a roundabout way, that's me kind of saying that it's a fun watch. But not a ton of substance beyond what we talked about. But that's
Okay.
not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's like I remember loving this when I first saw it. I was definitely in a different spot in life. And it kind of spoke to me then and going back and watching it now, definitely still speaks to me a little bit differently.
Okay.
Um, so you have a lot of stuff in here around kind of being alone and essentially depression and not feeling like you fit into society and kind of being repressed a little bit.
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that come up in this, like the fart is probably the biggest thing is like that's not acceptable to do in public and around other people.
Right.
Um, they talk about like sex and he's teaching him all those different things around masturbation and how he ended up associating that with his mom and I do love the one line that Manny says where he's like uh something about like I'll masturbate to your mom or something like that. I thought that was absolutely
Right.
hilarious.
Yeah.
um but he's teaching him and I think as he's teaching him he's reflecting on himself and in a way Manny is a part of him that's missing and I like how all that kind of ends up blending together and just I don't know it has you think a little bit differently on things and I don't know if I've been in a weird spot in my life but you know I've been kind of coming up with this in the past few movies we've seen where you almost want to reflect on your life a little bit differently. Had
Getting
it
real
with the
deep on me,
game.
man.
Yeah, I mean, I try
Getting
to.
real
Like,
deep.
that's one of the things I love about movies is everyone gets something different out of them, and I always try to find positive messages and stuff out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That is
But
fair.
there was another funny quote in here that Hank said. I'm pretty sure he's like, "Before the internet, every girl was a lot more special," which I heard
Right.
that and I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I understand what they were going for with it. Um, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean I took it from I mean of course you took it the same way I'm sure of pornography and all that
Hmm.
stuff, right? Like
Yeah, and
yeah.
objectifying women and having access
Right.
to that just at a like click of the mouse.
Well, yeah, that not only that, but like there's stigmas now too where like guys can't find intimacy with women because they expect things a
Right,
certain way based on, how it's portrayed. And
right.
so
They end
yeah,
up
I mean
associating that as the standard.
right. Right, which yeah, it's not, but um yeah, I get it. Like I got where they were going with it. I guess is where I was going with that. Is like, yeah, it's definitely a thing. I mean, um, yeah, as someone who partakes in therapy, not for that,
Hmm.
but that's usually something that's offered as a specialization at therapists and stuff. So that's where I was going. Is like I've picked up that uh, that must be a thing that's trending because a lot of like websites that do therapy and stuff like that, that's one of the things they focus on. So,
Oh, okay.
so yeah, I'm
Nice.
all for them calling that out because I mean it apparently is a thing that's a problem.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's another thing is like even with like repression, just recently I checked out that I think it was Netflix has that Ed Gein monster series. Um Repression in general. I have a feeling like that can go one of two ways, probably more, but I'm kind of, making it binary. Um, you either become alone and somewhat suicidal, or you get frustrated and angry with society and go a completely different direction with it.
Right.
So I don't know. In
Lord
general,
knows there's been a lot of that.
yes, yes. So I don't know. I really appreciate this movie and how it handles things and tells the story and is super creative. And they have all this stuff kind of play out. That's ultimately Hank's point of view on the world, and him reflecting on the good things and trying to convince Manny that he'd want to be a part of it and bring him back to life in some way, which in a way is him bringing himself back to
Mm.
society, and
Right.
eventually they kind of get there. Um,
Yep.
which, as we mentioned, the ending is definitely not as good as I had hoped it would be, but ultimately I feel it left things ambiguous enough that you could take it the way you want.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, obviously I feel Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano in this were amazing. Um,
I agree.
especially Daniel Radcliffe with just the faces and how he portrayed the character and being a corpse the entire time. Like
Mhm.
it was just so good for mostly being those
Yeah,
two.
the stiffness of his face
Yeah.
and, like, the way he contoured his face in certain ways,
Yep.
crooked smiles, one eye, half open.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really well done.
And I also was curious, like, it very much opens up on an island where Paul Dano is about to hang himself. Um, and then it kind of cuts to, he's back on land, he's trying to find civilization. And, obviously there's a few places where he kind of gets stuck, and it's this big adventure of him trying to get back to society. And then he does get back there, and then he's instantly back to the beach. Um, which in hindsight is kind of like he was camping out behind that girl's house. That was
Right.
just definitely one of the things where if it was literal, like I could see that happening to somebody where they've built this woman up and decide to live behind her house and observe her from a distance and have
Right.
a phone that's about to die that has her picture on it, whether she knows it or not. So just a bit creepy, but also kind of an interesting spin on that type of story and how creative it went from there.
Yeah, agreed.
So, well, that's all I have. Anything else you want to talk about with it?
I don't think I have anything else to add, no.
All
It's,
right.
like I said, for me, a lot of it was at face value, so.
Yeah, fair. All right. So let's do scores.
Okay, so this one for me landed a, reputable 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, nice. I settled at a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Very cool.
there's that half point difference. But yeah,
Indeed.
this is definitely one
Or
that I don't think I'm going to go back and watch it like every year. It's not like my favorite movie, but every 5 years or so, I think it's fair.
yeah, I would agree. I would
So,
agree.
yeah,
I think it's definitely a movie intended for a specific audience though.
I would agree.
Like
Yeah.
like I don't know like if I would recommend this to like my girlfriend for instance, but like,
Uh,
some of my friends that are like big into like the stupid humor type stuff, I would
okay.
send it that way.
I think I would
Um
show it to my wife just to get her thoughts and see if she likes it. Um,
okay.
and then also, like, it's definitely not one I would like show my dad. I don't think he would care about it at all.
Right.
But I think
Right.
my mom probably would.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not for everybody. Let's say that. And that actually holds up with what
Agreed.
I heard, like that some people, when this being an A24 film, they usually end up being a little bit weird in the first place. Um, when it was airing in some like early showings and stuff, people got up and walked out of it. Which, that's perfectly fine. Um, it's sad to see, but not everyone processes things the same way, which is good.
Right. Agreed.
But yeah, I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk next recommendation.
Okay.
I would like to take a little bit of a, and again, this is one that could be a movie where I reflect on it. It's a movie called Falling Down. We touched on this in a previous episode. Michael Douglas.
Okay.
Would
Yeah.
you
I'm into this.
yeah.
I'm into this. I'm still kind of riding that Michael Douglas kick
Yeah.
from the game. I really enjoyed that, and like I said, I've seen some TikTok clips of Falling Down, so
Hmm.
it's already kind of intrigued me. So I'm down.
Awesome. I'm excited. All right.
Me
So
too.
that is going to wrap up this episode. Be sure to check us out on Threads and Facebook at To The Movies Pod. And we are also on YouTube at The Movies Pod. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for letting me ride your fart-filled jet ski into this beautiful film.
How did you know I was gassy? No problem.
It's not, you shouldn't be ashamed of it, Ned. Shouldn't be ashamed of it.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.